Greetings and welcome inside the Baha Mar Convention Center. This is Baha Mar Hoops Summer League action, and we get things started with the Xavier Musketeers out of the Big East Conference and the University of Victoria Vikes from Victoria, British Columbia. Hi everybody, my name is Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us on FloHoops for tonight's action from Paradise. This Xavier squad comes in, a lot of things that I'm sure Xavier fans and basketball fans are curious about because of the departure of several key players: Adam Kunkel, Jack Nunge, Colby Jones, Sule Boom, all gone for this Xavier squad heading into the 2023-2024 season. A top 20 freshman class in the country for Sean Miller's group coming into this year, headlined by Dalen Swain, Trey Green, Reed Ducharme, and Kachi Enze, who will make the start in this exhibition game for the Musketeers. The rest of the starting lineup for Xavier, along with Kachi Enze, features Desmond Claude, Quincy Olivere, Abu Usman, and Davion McKnight. So Davion McKnight, Abu Usman, Quincy Olivere, and Kachi Enze. For the University of Victoria Vikes, Diego Mafia, the team's leading scorer from a season ago, a fourth year from Victoria, British Columbia. He's joined by Elias Ralph, Aaron Tescavoris, Ronaldo Robinson, and Sergio Perea, who is from Senegal. Victoria wearing the white uniforms this evening, and Xavier in the Navy unis, special unis for the Baha Mar Hoops Summer League. On the chest, it says all for one, one for all for the Musketeers. As we are set to go for what should be a very intriguing Xavier roster this season. A team that made the Sweet 16 a season ago in the final AP Top 25 poll. The Musketeers were 13th in the country, coming off a 27-10 season in stint 2, year 1 for Sean Miller. He spent several seasons as the head coach of the Musketeers before 12 seasons as the head coach at Arizona. Our officiating crew here tonight, a good one. Roger Ayers, he's reffed 4 Final Fours, 6 ACC championship games. Rick Crawford and Christian Wilmore will finalize our referees here tonight as we're underway inside the Baha Mar Convention Center in Nassau. Again, glad you're with us here on FloHoops. We've got a good guest lineup throughout the course of the Baha Mar Hoops Summer League, as Abu Usman gets inside and scores, the senior from Brooklyn, New York. He actually played here in the Bahamas last year. He was a member of the North Texas Mean Green team. Xavier has 9 newcomers on its roster, and Usman is one of them. Quincy Olivere, another transfer coming over from Rice. Usman inside, no dice. And a rebound for number 12, Sergio Perea, a year 3 from Senegal for this Victoria squad. Short for UVic. Diego Mafia, ball fake. Inside, this is Ronaldo Robinson who misses. Xavier will play 2 games here in the Bahamas. Every team will get to play 2 games, with the exception of the Bahamas teams, as Abu Usman gets inside and scores. And a good start for Xavier. 4-0 lead for the Musketeers, not even 2 minutes in. Elias Ralph backs inside on Kachi Enze. First taste of live competitive action at the college level for Enze, the freshman from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, out of the George School, as we get our first foul. That goes against the Vikes. Number 1, Aaron Tescavoris, one of the top defenders on this UVic team, according to their head coach, Craig Beaucamp. So a couple of free throws for Desmond Claude, the sophomore from New Haven, Connecticut, out of Putnam Science Academy. And he hits the first. 2023 Big East All-Freshman team a season ago for Claude. He's expected to have a great sophomore season, a sophomore surge. He ended his freshman campaign pretty nicely. 3 of his 5 double-figure scoring games came in the last 5 games of the season. He dropped 11 points in the second round of the NCAA tournament against Pittsburgh. 6-0 start for the Musketeers. Claude snatches the rebound and accelerates into the front court. Here's another transfer, Davion McKnight, and McKnight gives Xavier an 8-0 lead. McKnight transferring over from Western Kentucky as Diego Mafia drains a left wing 3. Averaged over 25 points per game last season as Oliveri responds, the right wing tray. So 9 of Xavier's 11 points have come from transfers. Davion McKnight, Abu Usman, and Quincy Oliveri. And those 3 guys are vets. They're 4 or 5 year guys for Sean Miller. Even though they're in their first season with the Musketeers, they combined for 46 points per game at their respective schools last year. When you take all of their averages together, certainly important to have some vets on the team with the departure of key guys from a season ago, as Abu Usman will head to the free throw line. I mentioned some of the guests, or I mentioned that we will have some guests on throughout the course of the Baha Mar Hoops Summer League. Our first guest will be in just a little bit here in the first half. We'll be joined by Xavier Vice President and Director of Athletics, Greg Christopher, who's been the AD at Xavier since May of 2013. So stay tuned for that conversation as we get a substitution on the Xavier side for the first time. The Musketeers welcome Dalen Swain to the floor, talented true freshman from Columbus, Ohio, as Usman hits the first free throw. Dalen Swain, number 3 in Navy for the Musketeers, highly touted 4-star prospect. Usman misses the second. Great job by Davion McKnight getting his hand in the passing lane, accelerates with the left hand and scores. How about Davion McKnight looking sharp in transition? He's got an early 4 points and 3 dimes. Hasn't missed a beat, despite having to get adjusted to a new team. Good defense from Dalen Swain as he swats that one out. (14-3) start for the Musketeers. Again, a lot of new faces for head coach Sean Miller and his Xavier roster. He said the biggest thing that his team will get from this experience is to bond on an island together, literally, here in the Bahamas. Xavier also just recently added their final player to the roster for this upcoming year, their last scholarship spot, to Gytis Nemikshaw from Lithuania. Unsure as if he'll get the opportunity to play. He literally was added a week or so ago. Here's Desmond Claude inside. And there's a travel on Davion McKnight. Well, this University of Victoria team, if you're unfamiliar with the Vikes, UVic from Victoria, British Columbia. I spoke with 21st year head coach Craig Beaucamp, who told me that this program is relatable to what UCLA is in the US historically, as Diego Mafia bangs home a right wing 3. The former head coach of UVic, Ken Shields, Coach Beaucamp said, is like John Wooden in the US. He won 7 consecutive national championships in Canada. Ball tapped around, still loose. And Mafia gobbles it up off the floor. Good crossover from Diego Mafia and finishes with contact. Diego Mafia, the 2022-2023 Canada West Player of the Year. Here's Elias Ralph with a steal. And a transition bucket off the bench, Shaden Smythe, a second-year player from British Columbia. Victoria has provided a spark over the last couple of minutes to get back into this one. Down by 4. A 7-0 run for the Vikes. Usman double teamed. McKnight, nice backdoor cut inside. Desmond Claude can't finish. Diego Mafia attacks and scores. A 9-0 run for the Vikes. 14-12 lead for Xavier, the first of 2 Summer League games for the Musketeers as Desmond Claude scores his first field goal, and now up to 4 points, made 2 at the free throw line. This is Diego Mafia with the basketball. 10 of the UVic's 12 points. He's balling early. Usman secures the rebound for the Musketeers. Nice takeaway. That's Aaron Tescavoris, 4th year from Calgary. Smythe, the putback. UVic playing strong right now. And a timeout on the floor with nearly 7 minutes gone by. We'll take one as well here from Nassau.
Extends a special thank you to our partners that support Bahamar Hoops. They include Bahamar, Nike, Hertz, Makers Air, Odyssey Aviation, FloHoops, and Gatorade.
Back inside the Bahamar Convention Center in Nassau, there's Sean Miller's group, the Xavier Musketeers, first of 2 Summer League games here in the Bahamas for Xavier, who made the Sweet 16 last year, finished 13th in the country in the final AP Top 25 poll, but lost a lot from a season ago. Jack Nungy gone, Adam Kunkel gone, Colby Jones gone, Sule Boom gone. So a lot of fresh faces, and these fresh faces will get a ton of PT playing time here in the Bahamas because of a couple of guys not available. Zach Fremantle, the graduate student, still recovering from foot surgery. And Jerome Hunter also not available. 3rd-year player for Xavier. Here's the freshman Trey Green, who splashes home a baseline jumper. Musketeers lead by 4, nearly 7 minutes into the first half. In day 1 of Bahamar Hoops Summer League action. Ethan Bogue checks into the game for UVic, as well as Izzy Hellman. Ronaldo Robinson dashes down the left lane. And there's Enze with a ferocious rebound, the freshman. Oliveri, nice dump off for Dalen Swain, who scores That's his first field goal. The freshman from Columbus, Ohio, out of Afrocentric. School's all-time leading scorer under head coach Michael Bates. Izzy Hellman misses a wild layup. First points for number 15, Logan Duncombe. Timeout, UVic. And this will extend to immediate timeout, so we will take one as well. Xavier with a 6-0 run over the last 56 seconds. They lead by 8. Xavier leads UVic 22-14. Sam Hyman back inside the Baha Mar Convention Center in Nassau. This is the first of 4 games as part of the Baha Mar Hoops Summer League this week. Xavier and Penn State headline this field. UVic and 2 teams from the Bahamas also participating this week. We'll have another game tonight. It'll feature Penn State and the Bahamas Pirates. And then on Thursday, Penn State will play UVic, and Xavier will play Bahamas Raw Talent Elite. Ball pops out towards midcourt. UVic basketball. Ethan Bogue backs down Trey Green, the freshman, and Trey Green sacrifices his body. The freshman from Charlotte out of Prolific Prep in California, the same prep school that Paul Scruggs, a former Xavier Musketeer, spent his senior season prior to joining Xavier. Quincy Oliveri floats it up, and Ethan Bogue secures the rebound, the 6'9" forward from Victoria, British Columbia. A lot of Craig Beaucamp's players from nearby campus, Victoria. Ronaldo Robinson accelerates down the left alley and finishes. Tough bucket for Robinson. Scored 26 points in their conference semifinal matchup a season ago. Traveling called on Xavier. A couple of substitutions. Desmond Claude checks in. And Reed Ducharme, the freshman from Milton, Massachusetts, out of Brewster Academy, 4-star recruit who chose Xavier over Syracuse and Penn State. The Vikes led by Diego Mafia, who's got 10 of their 16 points. Enze, good defense at the rim, and that deflects out of bounds and will go to the Musketeers. So right now, Xavier has 3 of its 4 freshmen on the floor. Trey Green, Reed Ducharme, and Kachi Enze, as Green misses a deep left wing 3. Robinson, step back right wing 3, pure. Ronaldo Robinson who averaged over 15 points per game a season ago. Desmond Claude flips it up and pours it down the drain. Good start here for Claude. He's got 6 points to go along with 1 assist and 2 rebounds. And he's a guy that Coach Miller expects to have a sophomore surge after landing on the Big East all-freshman team a season ago. He was an outstanding high school player as well. And he scores once again, 8 points for Desmond Claude. That is a team high. Claude was outstanding at Putnam Science Academy. 2022 National Prep Champions. His team went 38-0. And then he had a great start to his college career as well. Good ending to his freshman season. Logan Duncombe picks up the foul, his first, and this will put number 2, Elias Ralph, at the free throw line, third-year player from Calgary. Last season was third on the squad with 42 three-pointers made and hit them at a 36% clip. Five-point game. Xavier leads the University of Victoria from Canada. Davion McKnight, the Western Kentucky transfer, flips it to Desmond Claude. Claude has it popped away. Good defense from number 2, Elias Ralph. Pickpockets him and unable to finish. But it looks like there's a foul on Desmond Claude. Indeed, there will be a foul, a little bit of a push there. I asked head coach Craig Beaucamp of UVic, what are you most curious about with this experience here in the Bahamas? And he said, on the floor, I want our guys to understand it's more about us and not our opponent. We want to reestablish our identity. No matter how many guys we return, each year is different. We want to reestablish identity. Their regular season does not tip off until September 29th. They'll play 3 games in 3 days. McKnight finds Trey Green, the freshman, slashes to the tin. And a rebound for Sergio Pereira. Ronaldo Robinson guarded by Trey Green, the freshman at 6 feet tall. Very shifty on the defensive end. It's Claude with a nice takeaway. Desmond Claude backs up. He's got a team-high 8 points. Receives it at the top of the key. Xavier has only taken 3 threes in this game. They're 1 of 3. Musketeers were an outstanding offensive team in the 2022-2023 season. They led the nation in assists per game, 19 assists per game. And they also led the Big East in scoring, so they were dominating in that department. Diego Mafia at the top of the key. Spins, backs up, tough shot. And that ball goes out and stays with UVic. We're in the 242 Nassau, Bahamas, Baha Mar Convention Center. Glad you're joining us for some Summer League basketball. Both teams trying to get loose, dust off the cobwebs, and do some bonding prior to the regular season action. Ronaldo Robinson heads to the free throw line. Robinson hits the first. Looking at Xavier's regular season schedule, not all of it is out just yet, but November 6th, they'll play Robert Morris. November 10th, they'll face Jacksonville, a real big one. As part of the Gavitt Games, November 13th at Purdue. They're also going to play in the Continental Tire main event in Vegas. We'll have more info on that in a little bit, November 17th and 19th. Quincy Oliveri dashes down the right lane. And good save from Pereira for UVic. Traveling on Diego Mafia. Diego Mafia leads UVic with 10 points. Xavier is led by Desmond Claude, who's got 8 points. Oliveri backs up. Kachi Enze. And now Oliveri, little hesitation and carries. Quincy Oliveri, graduate student from Atlanta, Georgia, out of Westlake in year 1 at Xavier. We'll take a quick break. 7:46 to play in the first half. 3-point game, Xavier and UVic. Baha Mar Hoops Summer League action on FloHoops. .746 to play here in the first half. Baha Mar Hoops Summer League action. Sam Hyman with you on FloHoops. 3-point game. Xavier hasn't scored in over 2 minutes. Again, still working out the kinks. A lot of new players on this roster for Sean Miller. Transfers and freshmen. 9 total newcomers on this roster for head coach Sean Miller, who's in his second stint as the head coach at Xavier. Enze with the putback. Kachi Enze with his first field goal. Enze from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, out of the George School, just about an hour from Philadelphia. Averaged 17 points per game, 10 rebounds per game at the George School. His coach there, Ben Luber. And he comes from an athletic family, does Kachi Enze. Fans of Xavier and college basketball, especially in the Big East, will get to know Enze as the season goes on. His parents ran track in Nigeria. And he's got some of that track speed in him as well. Qualified for the junior nationals in track at 6'8", 230. Foul on Abu Usman. UVic playing tough right now. Ronaldo Robinson heads to the free throw line for the Vikes. 2 shots. First one is up and down. Robinson averaged 15 points per game a season ago for UVic, coming off a 21-5 season, 17-3 in league play, best record in league play since the 04-05 season. As I mentioned earlier, UVic, according to head coach Craig Beaucamp, the equivalent of a team like UCLA in the U.S. at the college level. But in Canada, UVic has had some terrific seasons. Usman tips it, that goes out, and it will stay with the Musketeers. Davion McKnight controls left wing, guarded by Ronaldo Robinson. Nice crossover from McKnight, and the teardrop straight down the water slide. Davion McKnight coming off a great season with the Hilltoppers at Western Kentucky. He led the team with a touch over 16 points per game in 33 starts. Second team All-Conference USA selection. NJ secures the rebound, his fifth.
Traveling violation.
Logan Duncombe checks in, number 15 for Xavier, 6'10", 250 from Cincinnati. He's a junior. Year one with the Musketeers. Spent 2 seasons at Indiana, as it'll stay with UVic. Elias Ralph stumbles and draws a blocking foul. That goes on Kachi Enze.
Fouls called number 15. Logan Duncan is second.
Logan Duncombe picks up his second personal. Desmond Claude will return for Xavier. 8 points for the sophomore from New Haven, Connecticut. Expected to have a terrific sophomore season. Off to a good start here in the Baha Mar Hoops Summer League. Inside 6 minutes to play until halftime. A 4-point lead for Xavier. UVic playing tight against a very good Big East opponent. Claude waits patiently and knocks it down. That may not have been option 1, but option 2 or 3. Claude will take it. He's in double figures with 10. 4 of 6 from the floor. Very efficient as Diego Mafia misses a left wing 3. Dalen Swain ahead of the pack, absorbs contact, and he draws a foul. With 5:16 to play in the first half. Well, when I spoke to Sean Miller earlier today, head coach of Xavier, he told me that he expects Dalen Swain to have an excellent career at Xavier. And it's just getting started. The freshman from Columbus, listen, at age 14, when he was a freshman in high school, he was starting on varsity. That good. I read an article in the Columbus Dispatch, and there was a quote from Dalen's high school coach, Michael Bates. It said, you have a guy who's 6'7", 6'8", who can do what 5'8" guys do. His ball handling, that's what Coach Bates is referring to. And Sean Miller mentioned that as well. His ball handling is outstanding for the size that he has on the floor. It's just tough to stop a guy like that. Xavier basketball. Swain, a 2-time Ohio Division III Player of the Year out of Afrocentric. And again, his head coach, Michael Bates, who's been there for 17 seasons, And Dalen Swain currently is the program's all-time leading scorer for Afrocentric. He was recruited heavily, you can imagine, being from Columbus, recruited heavily by Ohio State, but Xavier snatched him up as Logan Duncombe finishes nicely, and the Musketeers have jumped out to a 9-point advantage. Good Xavier fan base, by the way, here in the Bahamas, as Elias Ralph cans a three. McKnight tripped up down the right alley. That foul goes against Izzy Hellman, the second-year guard from Victoria, British Columbia. 4:24 to play in this first half. Here from Nassau, Baha Mar Hoops Summer League action coming up later on tonight. We'll have our second game. It'll feature the Penn State Nittany Lions out of the Big Ten against the Bahamas Pirates, a local team assembled here on the island. Davion McKnight absorbs contact. This is Dalen Swain. Now Trey Green delivers right wing Desmond Claude. McKnight surges down the lane. Tough bucket. Reverse layup for Davion McKnight, the senior from Shelbyville, Kentucky. And McKnight emerges up to 8 points. Desmond Claude pauses, now backs up. Lobs inside to Logan Duncombe, the 6'10 junior in year one at Xavier. Trey Green slashes to the 10 and draws a foul. 3:38 to play in the first half. We will step aside. 37-29 lead for Xavier. Baha Mar Hoops Summer League action continues after this on FloHoops. Welcome back to Nassau. Xavier fans, your Musketeers will be in action on the Las Vegas Strip this November at the Continental Tire main event. Don't miss any of the action on the biggest weekend of the year in Las Vegas. Xavier will be joined by San Diego State, Washington, and St. Mary's in the tournament field to be played November 17th and 19th. And save 20% on tickets, Xavier fans, through next Friday. Listen, use the code Bahamas at axis.com through August 18th. Visit continentaltiremainevent.com for full event info. Trey Green at the free throw line for the Musketeers. 6-foot guard from Charlotte. Out of Prolific Prep. Also played at Link Academy in Missouri and then finished up at Prolific Prep in California, where Paul Scruggs spent his senior year before coming to Xavier. Trey Green was the Nike EYBL Peach Jam MVP, a 4-star recruit, part of that top 20 recruiting class for Sean Miller. And here is Trey Green. Take away. And that's a blocking foul. So Trey Green will get back to the free throw line. Listen, it's a lot to replace when you talk about Adam Kunkel, Jack Nungy, Colby Jones, who was selected in the second round by the Sacramento Kings in this year's NBA draft, as well as Sule Boom. So only one of the 5 double-digit scorers from a season ago back for Sean Miller's team, and that is Zach Fremantle, but Fremantle is not available here in the Bahamas. He missed the last 15 games of last season due to an injury, a left foot injury that required surgery. He is here with the team and is in a walking boot. But definitely don't want to rush that process, especially in a game that does not mean anything in terms of your record. As Diego Mafia returns for UVic. 3:20 to play in this first half. An 11-point lead for Xavier. Trey Green delivers Logan Duncombe, the Indiana transfer. Kachienze, one of the only true forwards available for Xavier with no Zach Fremantle. Enze can't track down the rebound. Instead, it's Aaron Tescavoris, who's a pesky year 4, 6'3" guard from Calgary. Misses the jumper. Smythe knocks it out off of a Xavier player. It's UVic basketball. Reed Ducharme checks in for Xavier. 2:52 to play in the first half. Again, stay tuned for one of our first guest appearance this week in the Baha Mar Hoops Summer League. We'll be joined by Vice President, Director of Athletics, Greg Christopher, for Xavier in the second half of this game. Ball pops around and Abu Usman snatches it for the Musketeers. Davion McKnight, he's been flashy here in the Bahamas. Can't finish there in transition. Ronaldo Robinson pulls up and misses a left wing 3. The Vikes 4 of 15 from 3. Xavier hasn't taken a ton of threes as Ducharme is going to be called for the offensive foul. Xavier has only attempted 3 threes in this game, but they have been efficient from the 2-point area, 53%. .213 to play in the first half. Again, if you're just joining us, Xavier and Penn State headline the Baha Mar Hoops Summer League here in 2023 as Diego Mafia misses a 3 and Abu Usman secures it for Xavier. 2 teams from the Bahamas are here and UVic to try and give 2 D1 college basketball teams a run for their money. Usman can't finish. .12-point lead for the Musketeers. And traveling is called on Elias Ralph. McKnight dribbles it up the floor. Desmond Claude, Reed Ducharme, Quincy Oliveri, and Abu Usman. 5 on the floor for the Musketeers. McKnight accelerates down the left lane. And Diego Mafia maneuvers the other way for UVic. Good look ahead to Ethan Bogue, but he lost it out of bounds. Xavier ball. A lot of Xavier fans here in attendance this afternoon, here for not just basketball, but a chance to experience paradise. A good Xavier contingent on the far side, as you can see behind the Xavier bench. They are curious, just as all the college basketball fans are Big East fans about this Xavier team, what they have to bring to the table in the 23-24 season with a lot of new pieces. That's the one buzzword or words that Sean Miller kept saying, new pieces, fresh faces that are going to have to bond. He said, I want our guys and our staff to get to know each other better on this trip. As Quincy Oliveri finishes, he's got 5 points. As we're approaching halftime here in the Bahamas, Diego Mafia with 10 points to lead UVic. Ronaldo Robinson can't hit on the 3. UVic's 0 for their last 7 from the floor as Reed Ducharme can't connect on his first shot attempt. About a 4-second differential between the shot and game clock. Here's Desmond Claude, who puts it up and in. What a first half for Claude. 12 points here in Paradise. Xavier has its largest lead of the game. And they hold UVic scoreless in the final 4 minutes of that first half. 44-28 lead for the Musketeers, led by Desmond Claude, the sophomore from New Haven, Connecticut, with a game-high 12 points, 5 of 7 from the floor. We will step aside. Halftime straight ahead from Nassau. Baha Mar Hoops, Summer League action on FloHoops.
All right, fans, I know you had a great matchup from amazing basketball. We're going to turn it over really fast for a game of sibling rivalry. We have brothers. Oh.